Hi everybody. I wanted to take another little stab at explaining folder structures for websites and demonstrating how to path through them before you take on an assignment that uses those things. So I'm going to draw on the whiteboard here to try to illustrate how a website is set up, how we might use different folders, and then a little bit about how to path them. So anytime you serve a website, you end up in a folder. That usually is in a bigger folder that is maybe www or public HTML. It depends a lot on the service that you're going through as to how they structure it. Now we've got my website, and let's say I've got a website that I'm going to do about robots. So I've got robots, and that's this particular site. So that could be at something like mcleanonline.com. And inside of that robots folder, I might have index.html. When you start a replit inside of that website that we're using, Replit, if you started a replit called robots, it would just give you this folder, okay? But it is a folder that sits inside of some place that gets served up. We don't get to see that, but that's the way it works. And then inside of robots, we might have another one called images, for instance. I'm going to say img for the sake of that small space I've given it there. And inside we might have, I'm going to do file names as orange, robot arm.png. Okay. Now, inside of index.html, if I'm inside of this purple one and I write robot arm.png, then it's going to look inside this folder for that. It only sees img, it can't see inside that subfolder that's img. So if I want to get in there, I have to say img slash, and now I'm looking inside that img folder, so now I can find robot arm.png. We do this for organizational purposes. Put all your image files together. It's easier to find what's at this top one, and we don't have any files that are sitting there that we don't want, because we'll see them all very clearly. Now, I could also have a thing about programming. Let's say I'm going to have a folder that's about programming. Okay. And inside that, I'm going to have java.html. Java is one programming language you might use on a robot. And that's a file, so I should have done that in orange, because I'm doing all my actual file names in orange. So java.html. So if I want to link from index.html to java.html, I have to do that piece that says, gosh, in purple, what I see is programming. Once I do that, now I'm in brown. I'm inside this folder, so now I can find java.html. Okay, so that's how it goes down into folders. If I want to come from Java up to, draw these lines to make it clear that for all those I'm there. If I want to go from Java up to index.html, then I have to use, I'm in brown to start, so I can't see anything from there. There's nothing else in this box. But I can say dot slash. and dot dot go up one folder. So dot dot slash brings me up to purple into the robots folder, and then I can say index .html. Okay. So if I wanted to, in Java HTML, get to robotarm.png, this is where we start being able to traverse the whole thing, I would say dot dot slash, and that gets me up to purple. So now I'm in the purple folder, the robots folder, so I need to go into img. Okay, and that puts me inside the green folder, img. So now I can say robotarm.png. So I'm go up a folder. I'm going to get brown back again. So I'm going from here. I want to go up a folder. I'll draw this one out in the green so that I know. I'm going to go up a folder, and then I'm going to go down into that folder. Okay, so that's the idea of pathing. Dot dot slash takes you up one folder, and then you can go down a folder by putting slash folder name, or just, if you're starting with it, just the folder name. If you like to be more explicit with how you start, you can also say one dot, which equals this folder. I tend to like to do that, say dot slash something, dot slash image slash robotarm, for instance, .png. Okay, so that's the basic idea of how this is structured out. It gets pretty hairy pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it, and when I do, I'm going to work in Visual Studio Code so that we can see how it connects directly up with the real file system. I think that might be a little bit clearer, and I'll also show how we code that. See you in a minute. Now I've hopped on over into Visual Studio Code here, and again I'm going to do it this way so that you can see the overall structure. I'm going to go ahead and open a folder, and I'm going to create this from scratch. I have in my T1 area this HTML CSS that I have files for this class in place, and I have this Web Design 1 folder. I've created this folder called folder demo, and that's going to be where I'm going to put my website. So if I open that up, it's empty, there's nothing in it, and if I do command up arrow, I can see that it is within this parent folder of Web Design 1. So think of that like the public HTML folder. That's the parent folder for our websites. This website we're going to work on is folder demo. If we were working in Replit, folder demo would be the name of our Replit. Okay. So in this, I'm going to go ahead and open this one. It starts with nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and create a file in here called index.html, and very quickly I'm going to create the structure for it. And I'm going to leave off any links at this point. And I'm just going to, in my header, say index.html. Okay? Now, that matches this part right here. And then in here I want two folders, an IMG folder for images and a programming folder for my programming information. So I use this button here and I create a folder called IMG, and I'm going to create a folder, it's right now inside but I'll fix that in a second, called programming. Programming is going to hold all the websites. Yes, I want to move that. Okay, so programming is going to hold all the web pages about programming. In images, I need to get myself a file, an image. I probably don't have one of a robot arm anywhere. I suppose it's possible that I do. I can probably find something about a robot, right? Not there, though. I can find a robotics team avatar file. I'm going to do the small panda. There we go, the 180 panda. There we go. And I'm going to put that in my image folder. Now I've got the 180 panda. That's the logo for the Riverdale robotics team, dubbed Pandemonium. All right, and then inside of programming, I want a new file that I call java.html. Okay, and if I close those up, we see index. This is a really clear look at what index can see. Index can see IMG and programming. With everything collapsed, it can only see what's visible at that point. So I'm going to go back to my index.html page, save it, because you have to do that when you're on Visual Studio Code. And I want to put an image. Source equals, and notice that Visual Studio Code helps us a little bit because it shows us what we can see. I can see index.html, I can see IMG folder, or I can see programming folder. I want to go into the IMG folder and grab the 180 panda. Okay. And if I go ahead and look at this in the Finder again, what we'll see, let me go ahead and just do reveal in Finder. Index.html is now here. Programming is here. Inside it is java.html. Command up arrow to go up a folder. There's the IMG folder, and it has that image. So if I launch this index.html page, notice that it knows all that things about where it is, but eventually it comes down to this thing. Folder demo is my parent one, and then I've got index.html, it's got my header and that image. But I want to be able to do more than that. I want to be able to link to the programming page, the Java, and I want to be able to link back up to the other piece. So I'm going to put a nav in here, and inside I'm going to put an href equals Java programming. Okay, and again, when I do my href, if I get rid of that and put the quotes back in, it's going to help me. I'm in index.html right now. All it can see is itself and these two folders. So I need to go to programming and Java HTML. Okay, and let's go ahead and in Java HTML. Okay, and then in the body, we'll put in a Java programming header. We'll put in an empty nav for now, and that's all we'll do for now. We're just going to test that link, and we're going to go ahead and reload that. I've got my link. Does it work? You can look down at the bottom of where it thinks it's going. It is going all the way to folder demo / programming / java.html. I click it and it goes there, but it doesn't show the stuff, which is a problem. Maybe I didn't save. found it, but nothing loaded. Did I forget to have it say anything? I didn't close my title correctly. It thinks that's a very long title. There we go. Now it knows that it's Java programming. Okay, so that gets me that far. I don't have any styles yet, but that's okay. All I want to do is make sure we link things up. Style works the same thing. We'll tack that onto the end real quick. So from this file, from Java HTML to index HTML, I have to go up a folder, just like it is here. I got to go up a folder to index HTML. // because notice if I put that back, all it can see is itself. That's all that's in this folder, so it can't see anything, and I have to know that // moves it up a folder, and look at all it can see now. It can see everything that index.html was able to, and so I can then add index.html onto it. And I'm just going to have this one say home. And if I go and look at the page, I reload, this now has a home button. That takes me to my index page. I press Java Programming and I'm back. And now I've got a nice consistent look. Other things that can help, we'll talk a little bit about styling a navigation and making it work really well, but that takes care of that much. I could also include that image. You can probably figure out where we need to go next. From Java HTML, I need to go up a folder, down into image, and into robot arm. So I'm going to go /img/180panda.png. I'm leaving off my alts at this point, which is probably not good form, but I'm going to do it anyway for the sake of time. So I reload, and now it's got the image. So we're successfully pathing back and forth. Okay, and that pretty much takes care of the pathing demo. What I'll ask you to do is to create a site kind of like this one. Oh, I should do styles as well. Let's throw on styles. Create a new folder. That is the styles folder. It needs to be out here. And inside of styles, I'm going to create a file that is style.css. Now I need to link to that in every page. So in index.html, link rel equals style sheet, href equals. Notice now it knows that styles is here, so I'm going to say styles/style.css. Replit is not going to help you as much with the folders, so you need to understand to check your listing on the left a little more so that you can see that you got capitalization correct. Also, please don't name folders or files with spaces in them. Your life will be a lot easier. So in that style CSS, I'm just going to quickly style up a header. Font size 2EM. Background color is going to be navy. The color will be white. I suppose for the sake of keeping consistent, I'm going to a border of 2 pixels, solid green, and we're going to choose, there we go, a nice bright sort of bamboo-y green. There we go, I kind of like that. So now if I come to index.html, that header should apply that style. Reload. I'm not in the header yet. There we go. My border didn't work. I wonder why. Style CSS. Because I didn't save it. There we go. I'd want some padding and all of that in place as well, and I'm not sure I love that the way that green's working out for that. But that is essentially how you do your pathing. So I want you to go ahead and create your own page that, or your own site. We're dealing with whole sites now, that has at least 2 pages. One of them should be in a subfolder, they should link back and forth to each other so that you can click around your site successfully. They should all link to the same style sheet, and they should link, any images should be in one collected image folder in your top area. And I'll put my style sheet for my second page. So I need to go up one, into styles, and style.css. And we'll double check that that worked, and we'll sign off. Go into Java programming, and I have the exact same style for my header. Whatever changes it needs, I only have to do once. Thanks, everybody.